Hi Scorpio, welcome to your mid-March reading. So it's mid-March because your reading doesn't begin until the 18th, so nothing really is happening except you're getting a little more comfortable in the home situation, either because you're thinking of leaving and it's like enough, or because you've come to some sort of an agreement or temporary solution. I would suggest that you keep looking though. Something about where you are, if you've been there for a while, begs the, this move. All right, take a deep breath. And let's see what comes up. So why did I say the 18th? I say the 18th because Venus, Mars, Uranus are squaring. All relationships become super tense. Everything is relatively okay until about 3 days from now, when it seems like no matter how you put it, no matter how you say it, no matter how anyone else says it, no matter how you really feel about them, for some reason, it gets tense, it gets weird. But these are people you love. These are people these are the people you count on. These are the people that they're everything to you. We know how you feel about your family. These are the people you are most likely to lash out at this time. So keep that in mind, because you can come close to destroying the most important connections you have. Like to the point where it can be scary for you. Just because once these squares start, you're in a pretty bad mood. And everybody starts to feel the pull. Those last few days of Pisces season that pull you under, make you feel like nothing can work, nothing is working, nothing will work. Why is everything so fantastical and dreamy and not practical? And we need practical solutions, and we need to have practical conversations, and we need to, we're just giving our power away to these unnecessary connections, to these unnecessary dynamics. Why am I still giving my power away to something that happened before, something that doesn't even mean anything anymore? Why am I giving my power away to someone who isn't a part of my life? Mercury, Sun, Neptune, Jupiter, all in Pisces. To say that love is in the air, I mean, it's just intimacy all over the place. There are people here that you have not heard from. There are cups here that you didn't remember you had to fill. Your ego can have all the fun, and still you can be quite fulfilled at the same time. Your ego can have all the fun, and you can still fill all those cups too. It's a great time to be you. Now, for those of you who aren't single and are in a long-standing relationship, this is a great time because you're able to grow fast together after a period where it might have been stagnant. So that's wonderful. We love that. It's also a time where you see things about them as if you're seeing them for the first time. Things that you should have always appreciated, but somewhere along the way you forgot. Those things come back to you, especially if this is someone that you have reconnected with recently. If there's a long-standing relationship as well, but if you've reconnected with someone recently, then it's like you just see how fast that connection is growing, almost to the point where you might, those cups in reverse, right? That King of Wands, you might even feel scared. Like, am I giving my power away too fast? Some of you, the way it's happening for you is that this energy is in the form of regret. This is something that's already happened and you're recovering from it, and you're kind of kicking yourself. Why did I fall so fast? Why did I give over my power so easily? So any version of that intense power and connection that grows between people, any version of that can be your experience right now. Either it's super joyous because it's a reconnection, it's a deepening and really satisfying. If it's a long-standing connection, it's really exciting and exhilarating. If it's a new connection, and it's very dampening and makes one very lethargic if it's the morning of a past connection that has not been revived, or should not be revived, which is probably more so the case. Okay? But good news, we do have this Mercury-Jupiter conjunction coming up, and that's just all about the monies. It's all about bringing in that money, and hopefully that will mitigate your heartbreak a little bit. I know that's kind of, you know, not the point, but the money will help with some of the more painful, perhaps, connections that you're made to explore just because this energy is around, right? So the Nine of Wands in its own way can be pretty painful. Like, what are the things that you're not acknowledging about yourself? That's maybe not so much so painful as is, why are you not acknowledging them? What's happened to you that's keeping you from seeing that stuff about yourself, seeing the good in yourself? Who did that to you? Why did they do that to you? What did that do to you as a kid? What did that make you feel about yourself? How many wands are back there even? See, he doesn't know. How many things are back there that you should be good at, or should be better at, or should be no problem? How many different dynamics do you face every day in the world that you should know how to handle better, or could? It's even worse, could handle better if you just knew that you had that skill. There it is. There are those 8 wands right behind you. All those things about you that would help you be you, but you just don't know them. This Mercury-Jupiter conjunction, it can give you a little bit of a window into how much better you are than you think, especially in areas where you may think that you're lacking. And most of you have a very high opinion of yourself, so that's good. But if you have some areas where you secretly perhaps are insecure, this energy, this Mercury-Jupiter conjunction will really boost you, make you feel good. Okay, now let's move on. So, what is this down here? For me, this third row is about your ego and how it holds the door open for opportunistic people. So with your astrology lining up perfectly here, this is about coming to kind of a startling realization, like you're waking up in the middle of the night going, wait a minute, people are stealing from me. Who is stealing from me? What is going on? You know, there isn't as much money around as there should be. And some of you are going to come across incredibly uncomfortable realities where you're going to have to face the fact that, you know, the people stealing from you are people that are very close to you, people you really love, people who should be watching out for you. There's a deep sense of betrayal that can set in here for you, for those who, in whose case the siphoning is financial. In a lot of Scorpio's lives, this will be an awareness that comes over you that has to do with siphoning your energy, not so much your finances, but it can very easily be both. Now, for those of you who feel like someone is siphoning off your energy, you may want to put them on break, especially if they're more earthy, you know, if they're more ego-based. You may want to just put them in timeout for a little while. It seems like that would be better for you, especially, you know, the siphoning of energy usually with you guys is a two-pronged thing. First, they have to rile you up. And then the energy you generate from that anger or that annoyance or that hurt even, which is sick, then they kind of siphon that off you, you know? It's like fresh blood. So these vampires, you know, they're always trying to, in some way, upset the apple cart, disrupt you, so you'll have that sort of visceral reaction, you know, and be very reactive. And then that fresh blood, you know, they feed off of that. And the worst part is, not that that's not bad enough on its own, the worst part is the whole point of the next 20 days or so is to find this inner balance while all this tumultuous financial gain and this sort of electrifying of your interpersonal connections is going on. The goal for you as you navigate through this is to cultivate a sense of inner peace and inner balance and see all this happening and be able to observe it. But it has to create security in your life. It has to create peace of mind. It's not meant to give you more problems. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't first get rid of the people who are siphoning off of you or feeding off of you, then whatever goodness or whatever abundance comes to you, it will go straight to them. First, you need to get rid of them so you can actually receive this money, save this money, you know, cultivate that financial security and independence, and cultivate that peace of mind. So they're the first step. You know, anyone that just, like, you know, that the mismatch in energy, mismatch in finances, mismatch in everything, it's nothing personal. It's just not beneficial in any way for you. If anything, it's a liability. If that's the case, then it definitely is time for you to choose yourself, choose that pursuit of inner balance and inner peace, and cultivate that, and naturally find yourself moving away from these people. You know, it doesn't have to be some big to-do. It doesn't have to turn into something dramatic. It doesn't have to turn into some hyperbolic display of emotion. No, I'm not saying you do any of those things. I'm just saying it doesn't have to, on either side, turn into something emotional. I'm not saying you'll do that stuff. They'll do that stuff. They'll do that stuff if you tell them the truth. And what I'm saying is there's just no reason at all to tell them anything. And you have more than enough reason to just move away from them altogether and seek to, you know, nurture that stillness inside that you need while all these great things are going on. They, however, whatever agreement you can come to with them, whatever resolution you can reach, it's still not going to help you with what you really need help with, which is being still and balanced enough inside that all these good things can happen to you without it overwhelming you and making you turn self-destructive. You know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. Drink something, please. It's just all salt water, you know? Okay. Now, one of the things that I feel like you really need help with, that you need work with, whatever you want to call it, that you should work on, is asking for help. And I know that you guys hate it. And I know the more I say it, you like roll your eyes because you're like, look at this, look, Umber, help, asking for help. All it does is get you trouble. I get what you mean and I get what you're saying, but if there is someone, especially someone from your past, that you know understands you, that you know can help you with whatever it is that you're feeling or you're going through, it really would behoove you to reach out to them and just say, listen, there's this thing going on. There's this conflict, whether it's internal, external, it doesn't matter. The people that love you, they trust you. They know that you're not going nuts. They know that if you're saying that you need them, that you actually do need them. Okay, so just be honest and reach out, and try to do it before the 21st to the 21st. From the 21st to the 24th is very easy to get caught up in stupid stuff, to trip all over your words, to get into fights with people, to trip on the furniture, to, God forbid, hurt yourself, to, God forbid, get into a fender bender. It's very easy from the 21st to the 24th of March to be extremely clumsy with your energy, with your words, with your heart, with your car, with your walking, like everything. So just, that inner peace that I'm like kind of, beating this dead horse. The reason I keep mentioning the inner peace is because you have this very kind of frenetic energy coming up, and there's a lot of goodness attached to it, and there's a lot of money attracted to it. There's a lot of gain, there's a lot of excitement, but there's also this need, this desperate need to keep the balance. And how funny and how ironic that then later, you're actually, later in the month, you're actually clumsy and you're really going to need to keep your balance. Well, it just, it just goes to show you, because first of course you would have to cultivate that inner balance before you could have a good outer external balance, right? I have a friend who was really amazed when I first, became a yoga teacher. She just couldn't believe that I could keep my balance. And it was so funny to me that she like never had, I mean, not funny, maybe tragic, but it was sad, I guess is the word to me, that she had never put together that her sense of balance was so off because her self-esteem chakra is so weak, you know, and that has to do with like that solar plexus area of the body and the core of the body. If the core of the body is not strong, of course your balance will be very, very off, you know, but for many health reasons, the core should be very tight and very strong. And it was, yeah, it was just an interesting correlation there, right? Like, okay, yeah, I've never actually realized that this lack of self-esteem, these deep insecurities that kind of keep that chakra muffled for her would of course manifest as external signs. And in her case, it was that she was really clumsy and she couldn't really keep her balance. I'm sure there were many other manifestations of it, but so just be aware that whatever you're doing internally, mentally, from now until the 21st, it will help you keep your balance in the physical world. Next up, remember how we started with this 10 of Cups? It is so very, very important. Look at these cards. It is so very important for you to watch your words. It's so very important that you watch your words, especially with people who have helped you, especially with people who have been nice to you. Do not be harsh to people that you love. No matter how in the right you think you are, no matter how bad they've been, no matter what annoying situation it is that they've put you in, do not be harsh with them. And I will tell you why. And I'm going to be very real with you, so don't get upset with me. Okay? The fact is that you don't really love anybody outside of your people. And you know it, and it's fine, and it's nothing to like judge you about. It's just you and Taurus, this is how y'all are. I get it. But then you're going to have to admit to yourself that outside your people, you don't really be fucking with anybody. That's like, you have to admit it to yourself. Because then you need perspective. You need to understand that if you really are going to be this stubborn and this picky, which I admire, hell, I find it sexy. I get it. But then if you're going to be like that, then the people you do have, you have to admit and acknowledge that they are very precious because you have decided you trust them and you have decided you can let them in. So oftentimes what you do is you blow up at the people closest to you because you ain't got nobody else to blow up at. Those are the only people you trust to even blow up at. You don't even trust people enough to get mad at them. I get it. I know. But what you end up doing is you end up railroading people who love you, who are always there for you. And you know what? We recover because we know sometimes you're raging. You know who doesn't really recover? You know who walks around feeling guilty forever? You know who feels really bad all the time about it? You. You do yourself a disservice when you're cutting to the people who love you. Because we're the only people you got by your own choice, by the way. You decided these were the rules of the game. So when you, out of a lack of other punching bags around, I know you don't mean to do it, but when you blow up at the people you love, and especially if you do it in the next 20 days, you're going to come up against a harsh reality. And that harsh reality is that you isolate yourself. When you decide that you're only going to hang out with a few select, when you do this no new friend shit, you isolate yourself. And then if you're going to be in any way frustrated, human, things happen over here, you take it out on someone over here. Everybody does it. You're not special. Everybody does it. Nobody's special. We all do this. There's no judgment here. I'm not saying you're bad. I'm saying that when you do that, and you've only allowed yourself just a few people in the world to be close to, which I'm also not judging, then you can see how you can paint yourself into an emotional corner. You can isolate yourself. right? And what happens when you have few people and you're harsh with them and they distance themselves from you, or it's weird, then you become even more isolated. Then you become mean and calculating. Then it becomes about almost like a revenge of sorts, because there is this track that your mind can run on when it feels betrayed, hurt, and hurt and betrayed are kind of the same thing, right? If you hurt me, how could you? You betrayed me. How could you hurt me? That's such a betrayal. You know, it works both ways. It's not like you betrayed me, that hurt my feelings. It's both with you. It's like I'm hurting. What a betrayal. I can't believe you couldn't fix that. You know, and the more kind of aggressive it becomes, the more mean it can be, right? The more strategic and like kind of ruthless it can be, the more that relationship becomes destroyed. The less chance there will ever be of it, you know, recuperating. So it's important not to take out that anger, especially not with those who are closest to you. Okay. Now, there's also this full moon that's coming up in just a few days. And your financial luck is just so good. I mean, it just keeps coming. I'm laughing because it's hilarious. Because there's so much wealth in this pull. And it's just funny. Like, while you're grappling with these, you know, huge questions and kind of trying to figure your way through loving people and needing them and being attached to them and all that, you know, icky stuff, you're also just effortlessly attracting money and new ideas and new people. So it's important to pick those who you will be able to lean on. And try to pick those that you couldn't be mean to even if you wanted to. You often work with the best with people who have that sweet of a disposition. It's like you don't even want to sting them. Now, this Venus-Mars-Uranus square, right, it's beginning on the 18th, it's important that you not really spend any money until after the 24th or so. Then I think you should be fine. Let this whole thing pass. It's just about a week. But there's no need to panic. Okay? Good? Good. Love you. I'll see you in the extended in a few hours.